What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB here with the review for Claws. This is season 3, episode number 9, and it was titled Melba. So, you guys, we only have one episode left, and it's the season finale, which is going to be next Sunday. So, the episode was titled Melba Toast again. If I didn't say that, should have been titled something else because she wasn't really toast, more like she was chicken. But without further ado, you guys, we're just gonna go ahead and just jump into the video. All right, so the episode, it opened in a weird sequence because we see a little girl and she's playing with a kite, and then the kite, I guess the string broke and it, flew away, and the little girl goes and tells her mommy, and her mommy was Anne, and Arlene was there, and she was talking about how they could build another kite, it was a special metaphor. So we see the girls, all the girls are there, confronting, comforting Anne, with the exception of Polly. Polly wasn't there, right? I don't think she was. So, Desna says that she feels, she really feels bad. And then, she tells Virginia and Jennifer that, the professor wants her to kill Melba. And they tell her that basically she can't do it. And then Anne overhears her and she says, you know what? I'll take out Melba. And the reason why we know she wants to take Melba out is because of what Desna lied to her and told her last week, of which was the fact that Mac killed Arlene. And they tell her, no, you need to calm down. You need to focus on the baby. Don't worry about this. We will take care of it. More specifically, Desna will take care of it. So then we see Polly, she's talking to Joe. She's talking about how she just, she walked into the office. She's talking about how she didn't sleep well the night before because she's kind of worried about, did they leave a fingernail? Did they leave some hair follicles? Did they leave anything behind when they killed Patel? So Joe tells her that, it's all good because, when it comes down to Benedict wouldn't leave anything so that way he would be caught. And then she's like, well, how well do you know Benedict? He says, I can't tell you that. She's like, but you can stick your penis in me. We can kill people together. We can do all this stuff together, but you can't tell me how you're connected to this guy. So he says, okay, if I tell you, you have to promise me that you will not tell Desna. She says, cool, I won't tell Desna. So, Joe then tells her what his connection to him is. Joe tells her that he was the one that was the rat, the snitch, the informant. He was the one that, ratted out Mac and Melba about them working with Patel, doing the money laundering in the casino. And then, she was like, well, why would you do that? He says the reason why he did is because he was jealous of Dean. I'm like, so you got people killed because you were jealous of Dean because Mac and Melba was showing special attention to Dean? It's crazy as shit, but really? Jealousy? That is really interesting. You created a whole chain of events because you were jealous of one person because Mac and Melba were showing him special attention that they weren't showing to you. All right, so what the fuck was going on over there at the rehab? Because we see Uncle Daddy, we see Toby, we see Bryce, and we see those drug addicts. They all sweating up a storm, and, Bryce has turned up the heat. I'm like, so what is this supposed to be doing? Making them detox? Confusing. Which he says it was supposed to be making them detox mentally and physically. And then, Roller walks in and I'm like, yeah, that place gotta smell like hot ass and sweat. So then, Roller comes in and tells Uncle Daddy, like, yo, you gotta check out the TV. So Roller turns on the TV, and what happens on the TV is that there's a reporter, and they're talking about how they found Clint's dead body. So then Toby is over there freaking out because Toby thinks that the reporter is talking to him, telling him, to confess everything that he's done. And, Uncle Daddy tells Roller, like, yo, we got everything taken care of. Don't worry about it. So then Roller calls Desna. He tells Desna, like, hey, they have found, Clint's dead body. She's like, wait a minute, how did they find his body? He said, because you sink down, but it does come back up eventually. So, he tells him, like, basically, we got to get our story straight. She said, we ain't see shit, we ain't done shit, we don't know shit. So then he asks her, has she killed Melba? And she's like, she's still working on it. He says, well, once I'm done with our list stuff, I can help you. She says, no, you got enough on your plate right now, so you need to worry about the shit that you got going right now, and I'll take care of it. So then, she goes and talks to Polly. Well, Polly comes up to Desna and tells her that Joe killed Patel, and well, she and Joe killed Patel. And, Desna's like, what the fuck is going on around here? Like, shit. And then she tells her, like, hey, so Benedict wants me to kill Melba. And she says, Polly's like, well, why don't you use a throat pillow to, smother her? She says, no, Polly, I don't want to get you guys involved. It's a little bit too late for that, Desna. Like, you sitting here telling her, I'm not Patel, but Benedict told you to kill her. You've already gotten them involved, so a little bit late for that, Desna, but okay. So then we see Uncle Daddy. We see him, Uncle Daddy, Roland, and Toby. So they are just basically talking about what they're gonna, what their alibi is gonna be if when the police come around asking questions about Clint. But but once again, Toby is still freaking out. He just doesn't know what to do, and I'm like, I wish Toby would just sit down, shut the fuck up, and listen to Uncle Daddy. Listen to him. But he gonna do what he want to do. So then we see Roller. He goes to the casino to see Desna. And, she tells him that she's just not sure if she can kill Melba because she had a perfect opportunity to kill her, but she blew that opportunity. And we'll get into that in just a little bit, what happened with that one. So, Roller says, well, how about you let me do it for you? And she says, no, she needs to take care of it herself because Patel told, now, I don't keep on saying Patel, because Benedict told her to do it herself. So it's kind of, it really is odd to see, Desna and Roller all lovey-dovey. It's odd and it's not, it doesn't come off it doesn't come off naturally seeing those two lovey-dovey with each other. So then we see Toby. Toby is still, they're at the rehab and Toby is still scared about all his lies and his guilt is now eating him up. And he tells Uncle Daddy that, that he wants to go and confess his sins. And, Uncle Dad tells him, no, you need to keep that shit to yourself. Like, don't tell nobody what has happened. Like, keep it between you, me, and whoever else knows, which is nobody. But just keep it between those two. So, once again, the rehab, I swear that place got to smell like ass and hot sweat and must. Ugh. So, Bryce is telling the people, like, hey, we've detoxed. So, how about you guys piss in a cup? I'm like, ugh. So then Uncle Daddy gets a text from Toby, and Toby tells Uncle Daddy that he is going to go and confess. So then Uncle Daddy tries to call Toby, and it goes straight to Toby's voicemail. So Uncle Daddy at this point is freaking the hell out because, he can't have Toby confessing anything. So that, because number one, it'll get back to Roller, and Roller will never forgive him because he's just now coming around to him. So Uncle Daddy's freaking the shit out. All right, so then we got Uncle Daddy. He is speeding, trying to get to the chapel, the cathedral. I think it's a cathedral. It's a cathedral, right? Yeah. So he's telling he tells not Roller, but he tells Bryce that Toby was the one that took the shot at Desna. And that, they pinned it on Clint, and then Roller killed Clint. And Bryce is like, wait, what? Roller killed Clint. You guys pinned an attempted murder that he didn't do on him? Like, what the hell is going on here? So then we see Uncle Daddy. He's giving his confessional to the Father, I think his name was Father Maurice. And then he asked Father Maurice, like, hey, has Toby been around? And, Father Maurice is like, nope, Toby hasn't been around. I haven't saw him in a long time. And Uncle Daddy tells him, I know you're lying because... And I don't understand how Uncle Daddy knew he was lying. But Uncle Daddy takes his gun and he just shoots him. I'm like, wow, so we just gonna shoot a priest in the church? In the Catholic Church, we're just gonna shoot the man dead and leave him there? Wow. So then once they leave the church, Uncle Daddy tells Bryce, Roller can never find out. I don't know about that one, Uncle Daddy, but okay. So the last scene of the episode, we see Toby. So looks like Toby did not go to Father Maurice to confess, but he did go to confess. He went to the cops and confessed that he took the shot at Desna, but he hit Virginia instead, and then he gave up Roller killing Clint. I'm like, well, damn. Wow. Wow. I really didn't see that. I saw it coming, but I didn't see it coming. I figured I saw it coming when he started seeing when a reporter first came on the screen, and he felt like the reporter was talking to him. I'm like, Toby's gonna confess, but I thought maybe Uncle Daddy would intercept him. I thought maybe Uncle Daddy would figure it out that he did not go to the priest, that he was going to try to go to the police. I don't know why Uncle Daddy didn't think about that, but Uncle Daddy is headstrong. He thinks with his brain first, which is not. I mean, it is bad, but he's headstrong. I just don't know why he didn't figure that shit out. Because I figured it out in the first few minutes. All right, so now we got Melba. So Melba is telling Dean that Mac Daddy is dead, and Dean is having a fit about that, and he's talking about how he doesn't want to play in the tournament. So then Melba starts crying, and she tells him like, do this for Mac Daddy, and we can donate the money to the school, the school that Mac wanted to, well, the fake school that he wanted to come up with. And he says, okay, I'll do it. So then we see Melba. She tells him, okay, you go get ready. I'm gonna go to the restroom. So when she went to the restroom, Desna followed behind her to the restroom. So Desna locks the door in the restroom, and she goes up to the stall that Melba's in. And Melba's in there singing. So she takes out her gun, and she points it at the stall, and then she shoots into the stall, and you see blood just flowing from the stall. And she opens the stall up, and Melba says, well, damn, bitch, you didn't even give me an opportunity to wipe. But we come to find out Desna didn't pull the trigger. So then she asks Melba how is she doing, and we see Melba is a complete mess. And it's kind of interesting to see Melba in this state, and she's being nice to to Desna. It's really odd, to be quite honest with you. So then she leaves out. And this is what I was talking about earlier when Desna told Roller she had the perfect opportunity to kill her. She just didn't take it. So, Dean is playing the Mahjong tournament. At first he was winning, but then at the end of it, he ended up losing the Mahjong tournament. And, I was so confused by that geisha. There was a geisha there who was twerking. I'm like, what kind of shit is this, man? So then, during the Mahjong tournament, Benedict shows up, and he's not happy with the fact that Melba is still alive. And he once again reiterates to Desna, like, hey, she dies, or you die. Make a choice. But somebody's going to die, basically. So then we see Desna. She actually, before this, she calls somebody and says she needs help. So then she goes up behind Melba, and she pulls a gun on her. She tells her, bitch, walk. So they start to walk, and then they get outside, and when they get outside, it's Virginia, it's Jen, Polly, and Ann is there as well in the van. And she's like, y'all brought Ann? So then, Melba's like, you know what? I am not going with y'all. And Ann just says, pop, and knocks her ass out. So then we see them, so next we see Roller. So Roller is talking to Dean. He's telling Dean like, yo, Dean, I'm so sorry that you lost your Chinese dominoes game. And, he's like, you know what? I don't really want to talk. He doesn't want to talk to, Roller, that is. And, he's talking about how, Mac was like a dad that he never had. And I'm like, well, your dad is alive, and your dad tried to be in your life, but you were too fixated on his Mahjong shit to even realize that. So then, he's talking about he just needs someone to talk to, and he's like, well, Roller's like, well, talk to Virginia. And, Dean is like, well, he broke off his previous engagement with Virginia. And Roller just basically, once again, telling him, go talk to her. Get her back. Like, it's easy. Well, it's not that easy, but it is easy. Dean would have to, if I was Virginia and Dean wanted me back, Dean would have to literally grovel at my feet. Like, grovel. Like, it just wouldn't be oh, okay, Dean, we're back together. Nah, you would have to work hard for that shit. The way that you treated that girl, you would really have to work hard for me. All right, so then we had the girls. They take Melba back to the casino. Not the casino, but the nail shop. And, they just talking about, once again, killing Melba and how it's not going to feel right to kill her. But Paula's like, well, I feel fine after killing Patel. Well, you're a bit of a lunatic, but okay. So, our Ann is adamant about killing her because Desna told her that Mac is the one who killed Arlene, and Mel was like, "Is that what she told you? That is not what happened at all." She said Benedict killed her, and Ann's like, "No shit, that Desna's lying." Surprise, surprise. Um, Desna says, "I did that to protect them all." And now they are questioning Desna, like, who are you really protecting? Are you protecting us? Or are you protecting yourself? Because, in order to kill her, if you kill her, you are safe. But what about the rest of us? So then they all start to blame Desna for what is going on. And Desna tells them, like, hold the fuck up. Wait a minute. I ain't put a gun to none of y'all motherfucking heads, so y'all cannot blame me for shit. And if we want to be real honest, and your big ass mouth is the one that got us into all this shit in the first fucking place. And Anne's like, wait a minute, so it's my fault now? And she's like, well, I'm not the reason that Arlene was at the casino in the first place talking to Mac and Melba. She was there cleaning up your mess that you made. And she's like, so again, you're blaming it on me. Well, if the shoe fits, wear it. So, at this point now, they, just going back and forth spilling each other's tea. Because Polly tried to chime in and doesn't like, oh, wait a minute, I know good damn well you ain't talking. Because you ain't told none of them that you have been messing with Joe and that you've fallen in love with him. And they're like, wait a minute, what? She's in love with Joe? And, she's trying to backpedal out of that. And, then she's like, but Joe was a good guy because he tried to save Roller and Desna. And Mel was like, what? After all me and Mac has done for that little shit, he tried to protect them? And she's like, yeah. Mel was mad because he sold them out. So then Melba drops a big ass bomb on Polly, telling her that, well, did he tell you that he was married? And Polly's like, oh my God. So then Polly drops another bomb back on Melba and all the other girls, saying that, well, that Joe is the one that called the Macau Triad. And like, what? You knew? And then Ann flips out again. I'm like, oh shit. So in the middle of Ann flipping out on Polly, that allowed Melba the opportunity to run the fuck out. When she ran out, I would have did the same thing she did. Because she ran into a circus full of fucking clowns. I would have passed the fuck out. Because I would have been just like, not clowns. So she runs into Dr. Ken. And he, Dr. Ken is, selling his own pills. And she asked him to help him. He's like, you ran into me. So then the girls come out there. They get Melba. They take her back in. And then, Polly and Ken are talking. He's asking, how was Joe? She's talking about how Joe was honest. He's like, wait a minute, so you saying I'm not honest because I'm selling my own drugs? I'm like, oh my God. A little bit too much information, Ken. You should have kept your mouth closed, but okay. So then Dean shows up and he asks him, like, what are you guys doing with Mama Melba? And, they talking about, well, we got to kill her. But if not, Benedict is going to kill us. He was like, but Desna, you always have a choice, which that is correct. You always have a choice. So, Melba, Desna has a gun pulled to Melba. And she says, you know what? Because she asked Dean, why do you think that Mac and Melba would adopt a grown-ass black man? And she says, tell him the truth, bitch. So, Melba tells him, Mac and I didn't give a shit about you. And he's like, that's not true. And then she says, tell him all of it. So she tells him, we wanted the money from you. And Virginia's like, but he's broke. She's like, not. She said the money he was supposed to win with the tournament. And Dean flips the hell out. Talking about, Mac loved him. I think Mac did. I think at a certain point, I think Mac did start to have feelings, start to care for Dean. But it was, he was still going along with the plan that Melba wanted him to go along with. I do believe at a certain point, Mac saw a different side of Dean, and he's, he understood him, and he came to the realization that he does like Dean. So Dean tells Desna that she has to find another way because, after he pulled the gun and killed Slaughter, he hasn't been the same. And, Virginia's like, well, why come you didn't say anything about that? I think it might be a little bit of pride in that one, I believe. So, then, Polly is talking to Desna, and she's worried about Joe being married. I'm like, That's all you can worry about is him being married? Really? Selfish much, Polly? So, Des is like, okay, we got to come up with a plan. She's like, you know what? We can fake Melba's death. That's what we can do. But she's like, but then, Benedict's going to want proof of that. She's like, wait a minute, Polly. What about your homegirl down there at the morgue? She's like, oh, yeah, Diana. So then we see them talking. She calls Diana, and Desna and Polly go to see Diana, and Diana has, coolers full of. She had an ear, she had 2 feet, she had a hand, and they took the hand from her. Cause what they were gonna do with the hand was just give it a manicure, make it look like Melba's hand. I'm like, wow, this is dark, very, very, very dark. All right, so they have agreed that hey, we're gonna let Melba go. So she's like, "You're letting me go? Can I? Is it? We can hug? Can I get? She asked for something else. They said, "Bitch, go." So she walks out. Now this scene was stupid as shit to me. So you're like, she's like, Desmond, you should have killed me when you had the chance, bitch. And when she said that, I'm like, why do I feel like, Benedict's gonna be right behind her and just slit her throat? Well, that's not what happened. Much like if you guys have ever saw Scary Movie 2, the ending scene when Marlon Wayne's character was getting head from the ghost, and he was driving a car, and he when that man with the hand, he was trying to get Cindy, and Cindy was like, why, and screaming, and Marlon's car just came out and boom, hit him. That's what happened to Melba. But a chicken truck hit her. I'm like, a chicken truck? A chicken truck. A chicken truck. A chicken truck hit her. So, all the girls, since they saw the chickens, they are in the mood for, some fried chicken. So then, Anne goes back into the salon, and Desna falls behind her, and she asks Anne, can she forgive her? And Anne tells her after, she hears a song. I guess that was one of her and Arlene's songs. And she tells what? I got to sit on it. I got to think about it. But, you guys, that was the episode. Like I said, next week is the finale. Be sure to like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys later for Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. I am so excited for Hollywood, man. See you later, guys.